Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach, episode 17. And today was the Diamondbacks versus the Baltimore Orioles in game one. So put me in coach because I am in. The lineup today, Marte is back on second base. Corbin Carroll is playing right field. Adrian Del Casio is playing catcher. Jose Fernandez as DH. Vargas at first base. And then Jorge Barrosa playing left field, and the rest is the same. I would definitely say our offense did good. Not okay, but good. There was sometimes enough, but not very. People really carried away. I thinking there were spots where we did good, and then till like couple innings enough, we kind of went downhill and stuff. I would definitely say the Orioles are also a good team. I say all 30 baseball teams are good. It's just they had a good pitcher, so fortunately for them to have a little struggle here and there and stuff, that's just what things are gonna happen and stuff. So, but I do like them hitting more often than it is and stuff. But especially in the beginning, they were attacking a lot, so I really like that. Pitching wise, Ryan Nelson pitched today. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 7, walked 2, and gave up 1 run. So he did really good and stuff. Not the best than ever and stuff. He was mostly not really getting, like, he didn't really give up a lot of hits and stuff. That's a good thing for him. He did give that 1 run and stuff, but he really didn't really struck out mostly than the Orioles starting pitcher, because he mostly got more ground outs and pop ups and stuff. So that's the only way of that, and that's okay because you're getting the out anyways. It doesn't really matter if it's a strikeout or ground out, pop up, anything of that. Just get the out and stuff. So he did pretty good today and stuff. Yeah, Nelson is the other interesting. Some of the type of pitchers we have for the Diamondbacks and stuff, they're good. These are really good pitchers. It's just sometimes enough of like they cannot capitalize on themselves all the time and stuff. Being very what's the word I want to use? Consistency, like being consistency to be good like every single day and stuff. I think that's a very hard thing to do, to be consistent and stuff. Because you're not gonna do good every single time if you can show it and stuff. The Orioles pitcher starting today was Dean Creamer. He did pretty good. He probably did a lot than enough of it. He went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, struck out 9, huge for him. No walks, and gave up 4 runs. So it's interesting enough of, Ryan Nelson only gave up 1 run and he gave up 4 runs and stuff, and still Creamer got more strikeouts than Nelson and stuff. So it's just a matter of fact of what the batters are doing against these pitchers and stuff. So it's back and forth here and there and stuff. I think both of the starting pitchers for the Diamondbacks and the Orioles did really a great job of their job today and stuff. So I know that there's going to be like rough patches on both of them, but still of enough to make it a really close game very often and stuff. It's actually pretty good. And then this is where the Diamondbacks went downhill and stuff. The bullpen did not do good so well. So it's crazy enough of the bullpen has been doing so well, and this game we didn't. Tyler Rashi, Jonathan Liskia, and Andrew Hoffman were the rest, and so our bullpen, our starting, pitching was just not good for us today. Scoring, Kento Marte hit a solo home run to make it 1-0, top of the first, and the first pitch in the game. So Marte is hacking like right away, and so gotta love to see that and stuff. And he even get another solo home run to make it 2-0, top of the third, his second home run in the game and stuff. And then Nolan Arenado with a 2 home run to make it 4-1, top of the first, and his first home run as a Diamondbacks. Gotta love to see that as well, because I remember seeing him getting his first home run in spring training. So it's good to see him to get some home runs overall. And then that, because he got his second home run, so he got a 3 home run and to make it as 7-1, top of his second home run in the game and stuff. So hopefully he can show that more in more games and stuff. And then this is where Diamondbacks went downhill at this point, because all of the runs went straight to the Orioles. So Lodi Traveres did a RBI single to make it 2-7, bottom of the 6th. This is actually a play was very interesting. He kind of it was kind of like a bloop single in a way and stuff, and I think Perdomo should absolutely catch this ball, but fortunately it kind of got a little bit between of Perdomo and Barossa, and so that's why it got in like the middle. So that was a little bit weird. Fortunately enough, like both of them kind of eased off on this one, and fortunately enough, if they actually catch that, we would actually be in this game more often. But honestly enough, it wouldn't really mattered so much and stuff. Every out counts and stuff. You cannot let the other team to have a comeback, and fortunately enough for that to literally make them lose some outs and stuff. The only thing, it was a little awkward because where Perdomo was at shortstop, I thinking when Traveras was at the bat, I thinking they had little area where they're at the field. It's like they kind of like move like the players on the field a little bit, so where they can hit, it's where they're gonna hit right to the players on the field to get a better outer bet out and stuff. But fortunately that just didn't really happen and stuff. So for that, when I saw that and stuff, I just have a feeling that was all Perdomo's ball. Like, that's his ball. Like, you gotta go and get that and stuff. Like, I know I saw, like, even other people play second base or shortstop and stuff, and they still got to the ball. It doesn't matter enough if you're even in the outfield and stuff. Like, you're much closer to the ball and stuff. And for Barossa to not go out and catch it as well, both of you totally, just let that as a single, and you gave a run away. And because when Rashi was up to the plate, on the mound, I meant to say, and fortunately enough, that time it was basically, Nelson got out that at that inning. So it's the same inning as Rashi came in for Nelson. You're giving away some ERAs for Nelson. So you didn't really help even your starting pitcher as well to give some ERAs and some runs off of on Rashi as well. So it just didn't really help us with that bloop single and stuff. It should be an out. And if Perdomo was actually standing where position shortstop should be at and stuff, Perdomo would actually had a better chance. But he was like over to the side, more to the second base area and stuff, and that's why he had a rough time to get to that ball and stuff, because it was right in the between of left field and shortstop, and that's why it was a little hard to do. But hey, how about you dive for the ball? Put your whole body into it and stuff. If I would be Perdomo, I'm going for that ball. I'm putting my 100% effort in everything. Okay, like these are the things you're going to win games, because for you just like let it happen, you're letting the other team to come back. Unfortunately, that's what happened and stuff. So fortunately, that's just where I just don't want to see that and stuff. If you're on my team, put some efforts in, some and stuff. We want to be a winning team. We're not going to let the other team to have a comeback. And moving on. And then, fortunately enough, Jeremiah Jackson hit a grand slam to make it 6-7, bottom of the sixth, giving 5 runs. And fortunately enough, it went off of Rashi. The weirdest thing enough, Rashi was actually doing pretty good till at this point. And so hate to see that, and I think he got the loss as well. So that is that. Maybe who knows? Maybe Lycia probably got the loss instead. That's why enough. Like it should be 2 outs. That person shouldn't be on base, and if that was a 3 home run, it would be down to 5-7. So again, this actually does change the game if that RBI single from Tavares, and with a bloop single, it wouldn't be a more closer game than it was and stuff. And then, fortunately enough, P. Alonso hit a 2 home run to make it 8-7, bottom of the 7th, to take the lead. And so, fortunately for that, so say like enough of if Perdomo actually did catch that ball, it would be 6-7. Actually, no, it would actually tie the game up. Yeah, it would be tie the game up as 7-7 because we were down by 2. They were down by 2, my bad. So they would make it be 7-7 tied up. And then Jeremiah Jackson hit a solo home run to make it 9-7, bottom of the 8th. His second home run in the game, because he was the one also hit that grand slam in the 6th. So fortunately enough, it really, really mattered of enough, because the Orioles won the game 9-7 to make the Diamondbacks record 9-8 and stuff. But if that was a caught on Tavares, it would actually be 8-7, and the Orioles still win and stuff. So again, it did help more often because of the pitchers didn't do so well. But fortunately enough, like there was also times where the umps also messed the game up as well, because I don't think the time where P. Alonso, when he hit the 2 home run, Tyler Ward was at first base because he got hit by pitch and stuff. And fortunately enough, he should be strike out. The hit by pitch shouldn't actually happened. So the umps also messed the game up as well. And if that was a solo home run and stuff, it would be the same score at this time. So it would be 9-7 if you think about it, right? Shoot. Right? Because hold up. Let me process this and then through, because I'm trying to figure out enough of if this would actually change the game and stuff, because if it wasn't be a grand slam and it would be a 3 home run, because it's already at the time it would be 7-2, and if it's 3 home run, that makes it 5-7 and stuff. And if P. Alonso had got a solo home run, it would be 6-7. And if Jackson did another solo home run, did a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th, it would make it tied up. So again, it did really change the game for the Orioles, in a good way for them. So outs matter. Sucks so bad. So yeah, it just didn't go our way. We should absolutely win this game. We shouldn't give home runs away. Those are the big ones. Totally lost the game and stuff. Like, we were doing so well. Marte with 2 home runs. Nolan had 2 home runs. And then, fortunately enough, giving a grand slam and then a 2 home run and then a solo home run for them to take the lead and stuff. So, a lot of home runs in this game. It's a very close game overall, but it's just like, it's just so weird enough of like the bullpen just didn't do so good today and stuff. So, hopefully they learn their lessons today and stuff. Love seeing the offense a little bit. Love seeing Nolan going yards and stuff. Love to see more of those and stuff. Marte is hacking a little bit, but went 2 for 5 a little bit and stuff. So those things are going to happen. You're not going to win every game, so, but wins do count and outs count, and winning games fair also count as well, because I'm also blaming on the umps on Tyler, giving Tyler Ward getting hit by a pitch shouldn't have actually happened and stuff. So that's pretty much of that and stuff. Yeah, the bullpen, I was just thinking they just made a lot more mistakes than today, than before and stuff. So hopefully they can learn their mistakes. Look at your homework. Let's get back into this and stuff. I understand this is only game 1 against the Orioles, so hopefully enough we can actually learn our lessons and actually get some revenge on the Orioles for game 2 and game 3, because we cannot lose another game, then we'll lose a series over them and stuff. So we need to win back-to-back games for tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. So hopefully that will be matter of fact of that. So yep, I'm excited for today, because Morel Kelly is going to pitch tomorrow and stuff. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. I'm super excited, because I've been like, it's crazy enough of injuries happening so many often and stuff. And the crazy thing is like, when spring training, especially the World Baseball Classic was around and stuff, Carroll was basically injured at the time. That's why he didn't be part of the USA team in the World Baseball Classic, and then got replaced by Roman Anthony and stuff. And fortunately enough for Roman Anthony, he's doing terrible this year in the season and stuff. I don't know what happened to that kid, but things are gonna happen in a bad way. So those are just those things and stuff. So it's just interesting of enough of having him getting injured and then having coming back and stuff. And that was also like the same time as, like I think Gallen got injured and then Kelly got injured as well. So it's crazy enough these whole injuries were happening while like the World Baseball Classic what's going on and stuff. And then hearing about Carroll and Gallen are back and in like healthy and stuff. I thought Kelly was also healthy, but fortunately at the regular season was coming up for opening day and and stuff. So he is still on the IL at the time and stuff. So love to see him coming back tomorrow and stuff. Hopefully he can do well in his first start in the season and stuff. So hopefully he can kick some ass on the Orioles and stuff. And also I like seeing my boy on the other side. I was a big Blaze Alexander fan when he was on the Diamondbacks and stuff. And also he was the person got the last out to get the Orioles to win for the Diamondbacks to lose and stuff. So don't like it, but fortunately enough, I gotta get a little cap for my boy sometimes and stuff. He's a good player, so that's why I really liked him. He was very unique baseball player and stuff. And the crazy thing is we haven't seen Swords, the person we traded for him, and stuff. I heard he got in the minor leagues and stuff, so hopefully he might come back soon later and stuff, because when he was on the Orioles, he was nasty pitcher and stuff. So hopefully he can show that for us in the future and stuff. So, but fortunately enough, I'm still a Blaze Alexander fan, and I just like to see my boys to CC and stuff. The only thing I don't like is when they're on the Dimebacks. I mean, doing damage against the Dimebacks. Same thing like with Bryce Harper. Just like it's annoying for that and stuff. Like, just do it to other teams. I don't freaking care and stuff. My Dimebacks, don't do it. Don't do it on my other boys. Don't do it. All right, you guys have a great day.